Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBayCrochet.com, and you've come to video number 3 of the Tree of Life throw. Okay, I wanted to show you what the motif should look like. Okay, I've got 3 of these across. I'll show you from left to right. There's 1 set, 2 set. Notice I'm still using my stitch markers here to help me with this. And this is the 3rd set. Okay, we've completed up through row number 30 as we follow the tree chart. Okay, now we're about to begin row 31, and let's take a look at the chart. Okay, I have checked on this on my printouts, and it does appear to be a little bit cut off. I think this is just the way it was printed and published, but it's very doesn't have to be difficult to read, and I'm going to help you read through this. Okay, starting on the right side over here, we're going to chain 1. We're going to work 4 single crochets. This is going to be, these are all going to be, the singles are going to be front post double crochet here, 2 single crochets, a front post double crochets, and all of these are going to be connecting in to the post stitches below, and I'll show you exactly where they go. 3 single crochets, 2 front post double crochets, 5 single crochets. Now here's where we're going to get into front post trebles. We're going to do the cross again. 2 front post trebles going to the 2 post stitches over here, and then working in front of those, we're going to do the 2 front post stitches on this side, and you'll see what I mean by that once I get to the yarn in the project. 4 single crochets, and then we have another 2 front post trebles crossing to the cables here, and then 2 front post trebles connecting into the 2 post stitches on this side. 5 single crochets. Now we're back to 2 front post double crochets, 3 single crochets, a front post double, 2 single front post double, and 4 single crochets. Well, let's go ahead and work this. I'm going to start this row with the chain 1, and we do have the front side facing. We're going to work 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 front post double. I'm actually going to use a little bit of a marker over here so that it helps me know where I'm going. And then we're going to work, remember now we're going to skip 1 stitch here for this post stitch that we just crocheted, and then we're going to crochet 2 single crochets, another front post double crochet, followed by, well, we're going to skip this stitch and then do 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move my marker on my graph over here, and then we're going to do 2 front post double crochets. Notice that I skipped that other single crochet back here. Now we look back here, we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2 for these front post stitches, and then we're going to work 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to work the cross that I told you about. We're going to reach way over here. We're going to be using treble crochets, and we're going to grab these 2 post stitches. We're only working in the post stitches when we do these trebles and the front post doubles as well. Okay, so I've gotten these 2 front post trebles, and I'm going to cross in front of these and then grab or crochet a treble, front post treble in these 2. 1, 2. Now we've just made 4 stitches. Let's look back and count all 4 stitches behind here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the next stitch will go in here, and we're going to work 4. Let me move my stitch marker. 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do that again. We're going to do another cross, and we're going to reach all the way across here. We're going to wrap it double, so for that treble, and we do a front post treble here, and then a front post treble right next to that one. Now we're going to work in front of these 2 stitches, and we're going to work this one and then this one with the front post treble crochet. Okay, just like that. And now we're going to work 5 single crochets. So before we do that, let's count off 4 stitches back here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if you can see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then single crochet. Let's go ahead and put the yarn in back. Single crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. And now we're going to work 2 front post double crochets. Remember now, the trebles only come with the crossing of the cables. The doubles for just about everything else. Okay, so I'm going to move my marker on my chart. Okay, so we skip these 2 stitches that haven't been used. And now we're going to work 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to work a 1 front post double crochet. Skip that stitch and then do 2 single crochets, and then do another front post double crochet, skip that stitch behind it, and then work 4 single crochets. Now if as you're working across with this and you end up with extra stitches, or maybe you don't have enough stitches, then I think you need to probably go back and do this with me again. So that is the repeat. It's becoming more complex, as you can see, but that is the repeat all the way across for row 31. So go ahead and do this 2 more times. Now we're ready to start row 32. I'm going to let 31 also be shown here so that you know where these are connecting into. We're reading the black letters here, going from left to right, and this is with the back side facing. We're going to have a chain 1, 4 single crochets, a front post double, 2 singles, a front post double, 3 singles, 2 front post doubles, and again these are all connecting in to the post stitches below, 5 single crochets, 4 back post doubles. This will be worked over these stitches that crossed, and you just work them as they appear, as they come along. 4 single crochets, 4 more back post double crochets, 5 single crochets, 2 back post double crochets, 3 singles, 1 back post double, 2 singles, 1 back post double crochet, and 4 single crochets. So let's go ahead and work this row. We begin with a chain 1 and single crochet in the first 4 stitches. It's 3, 4, and after that we're going to work 1 back post double crochet, connecting it in to that post stitch, and we're going to skip 1 stitch for that back post that we just crocheted, and we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then another back post double crochet in that post stitch. I'm going to move my stitch marker, or my little stitch marker that I'm using on my chart so that I don't get lost. I'm going to skip 1 stitch for this post stitch, and then 3 single crochets, and then we work 2 back post double crochets. Make sure you go around the entire post, and then I'm going to work 5 single crochets, but I'm going to skip these 2 stitches here in lieu of these post stitches we just worked, and then 5 single crochets. It's 4, and and 5. I'm going to move my stitch marker over here. Now we're ready to work over these stitches that were crossed, and they're just work one at a time. 4 back post double crochets all in a row. This is the third one and the fourth one. Let your fingers inform you as to where these are. Okay, after that we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches there, and then work 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to move my stitch marker over here on my chart again, and then 4 more back post double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by 5 single crochets. Let me count off the 4 that I skipped. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 single crochets. 3, 4, and 5. And then now I'm going to do 2 back post double crochets on those post stitches, and skip those 2 stitches, and 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, followed by 1 back post double crochet. Skip that stitch for that back post. 2 single crochets, 1 more back post, skip a stitch for that back post, and then we should have 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and the last one should end where the stitch marker is. And so this is what you should have from the back side. And let's take a look at the front side to see how these trees are growing. Okay, so this is your 48 stitch repeat. So go ahead and do that 2 more times across row 32. Okay, now we're ready to take a look at row 33. Chain 1, 3 single crochet, front post double, 3 singles, front post double, 3 single, 2 front post double, 5 singles, 4 front post double, 4 single, 4 front post double, 5 singles, single crochets, 2 front post double, 3 singles, 1 front post double, 3 singles, 1 front post double, and 3 single crochets. This should be looking kind of easier, but let's go ahead. And what I've been doing is actually I've been laying my needle, or you could just take any object and lay it on your chart here as you go. That's what I've been doing, so that I don't have to keep recalculating everything as I read this out loud with you. So let's go ahead and start row 33. We start with a chain 1, and we're going to work single crochet in the first 3 stitches. And now we work a front post double crochet. Let's see if I can get that better. There we go. Skip 1 stitch for that stitch behind, and 3 single crochets, followed by another front post double crochet. I'm going to skip that stitch behind for the double front post double, and then 3 more single crochets, and then 2 front post doubles, now we're ready. After we skip these 2 stitches for the post stitches, we are going to work 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to work 4 front post double crochets. 1, 2, 3 and 4. That's going to be followed by 4 single crochets. So let's go ahead and count off these stitches that we're skipping behind. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know this is redundant for me to keep on doing this, but it's just the best way that I know to make sure that we don't skip stitches or use them too much. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets, followed by 4 more front post doubles just straight across. So where those branches crossed 2 rows down. Okay. And now we're going to do 5 more single crochets. So let's skip 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches behind, and then 5 single crochets. And that's going to be followed by 2 front post double crochets, and then skip 2 stitches, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, a front post double crochet, skip that post or that stitch behind, and then do 3 more, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do a front post double here, skip that stitch there, and then 3 more single crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and that is going to end our repeat across row 33. So this is what you should have for that repeat. So go ahead and do that 2 more times across the row. Okay, now we're ready to start row 34. We're going to read from left to right. This is what the back side facing. Chain 1, 3 single crochet, 1 front post double, 3 singles, front post double, 2 singles, front post double, 2 singles, front post double, 3 single crochets, 2 front post doubles, 2 single crochets. Let me just get my sheet up here. 2 front post doubles, single crochet, 2 front post doubles, 2 singles, 2 front post doubles, 3 singles, front post double, 2 single, 1 front post double, 2 singles crochets, 1 front post double, 3 singles, front post double, 3 single crochets. Let's go ahead and complete row 34. Okay, I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in the first 3 stitches, and then we're going to work a back post double crochet, skip a stitch for that post stitch, and 3 single crochets again. I'm going to move my stitch marker on my chart that I'm following. Now we're going to do another back post double crochet, and we're going to do, now I'm going to skip this stitch, and we're going to do 2 single crochets, another back post double crochet, skip this stitch, and 2 single crochets. I'm going to move my stitch marker. Now I'm going to work another back post double crochet, skip this stitch, and now I'm going to do 3 single crochets, now we're going to do 2 back post double crochets, 1, 2, skip 2, and crochet 2, and back post double the next 2, I'm going to move my stitch markers again, and now we're going to skip 2 stitches here, and then 2 single crochets, 2 more back post doubles, and and skip 2 stitches, 1, 2 for those, and then 2, let's try that again, 2 single crochets, and 2 more back post double crochets, 1, 2, skip 1, 2 stitches, and then 3 single crochets. Now we're going to do 1 back post double crochet, skip this stitch, and then 2 single crochets, and then another back post double. We're just really splitting the branches in this design as we go right now. Skip this stitch, 2 single crochets, followed by a back post double, skip this stitch, and then 3 single crochets, a back post double crochet, and skip this stitch, and then 3 more singles, 1, 2, and the last stitch of this repeat ends in the stitch marker when working from the back. Okay, let's turn around and see what we have on the other side. You can see how these branches are starting to split on purpose as we go across. Okay, so let's go ahead and repeat that 2 more times across row 34. Now let's take a look at row 35. We start with the chain 1, 2 singles, front post double, 3 singles, front post double, 3 singles, front post double, 2 singles, front post double crochet, 3 singles, 2 front post doubles, 2 singles, 2 front post doubles, 2 singles, 2 front post doubles, 2 singles, 2 front post doubles, 3 singles, front post double, 2 single, front post double, 3 single, front post double, 3 singles, front post double, and 2 singles. Now you know why I'm using a pencil or something to mark my way as I read across, because it's very easy to get lost. So I'd recommend that you do use something as well. So let's go ahead and work row 35. We start this row with the chain 1 and 2 single crochets. Now we work a front post double crochet and skip a stitch behind for that, and then work 3 single crochets followed by a front post double crochet, skip the stitch behind, and 3 single crochets, let me move my marker there. Now we work a front post double crochet, skipping 1 stitch back there, 2 single crochets, and a front post double crochet. Now we're going to skip another stitch here, and we're going to work 3 single crochets. Now we're going to work 2 front post double crochets. We're going to skip 2 stitches back there. We're going to work 2 single crochets, and now work 2 front post double crochets. I'm going to move my stitch marker over here. Alright, stitch marker on the paper, that is. Skip 2 stitches, 2 single crochets, and 2 more front post double crochets. Skip 2 stitches behind, 2 single crochets, and 2 more front post double crochets, and we're going to skip those 2 stitches back there, and 3 single crochets, a front post double, skip a stitch behind for that post stitch, and 2 single crochets, a front post double crochet. Now we're going to skip 1 stitch there. Now we're going to do 3 single crochets, a front post double crochet, and skip a stitch here, 3 single crochets, a front post, let's try that one again, front post double crochet, skip a stitch there, and then we work 2 single crochets, and again that stitch marker will start the next repeat. Okay, let's take a look at how this is unfolding. Now, just to let you know, according to the chart, this stitch and this stitch, which are the branches, are done. They're not going to be worked again in this repeat, or in any repeats in this section. So the tree is, branching upward. So go ahead and repeat that 2 more times across row 35. Okay, now let's take a look at row 36, starting with the back side facing, and we're going to read it from left to right. We have a chain 1, 5 single crochets, front post double. Notice that this front post double from row 35 is no longer going to be used. Then we have 3 singles, front post double, 3 singles, front post double, 3 singles, 2 front post doubles, 2 singles, 2 front post doubles, 2 single crochets, 2 front post doubles, 2 singles, 2 front post doubles, 3 single crochets, front post double, 3 singles, front post double, 3 singles, front post double, 5 single crochets. Let's go ahead and work row 36. We start with the chain 1, and we're going to work 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to work a back post double crochet. It's kind of far to the left there, so go ahead and grab that, and then skip this stitch, and then 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. After those 3 single crochets, work a back post double crochet, and then skip this stitch, and then 3 more single crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do a back post double, and then 3 more single crochets after we skip this stitch. 1, 2, 3. And now we work 2 back post double crochets. 1, 2. Skip 1, 2 stitches behind those. 2 single crochets, and then 2 more back post double crochets. 1, 2, and skip 2 stitches. 1, 2, and 2 single crochets, and 2 more back post double crochets. Let me move my stitch marker over here, and then we're going to skip 2 stitches, and then 2 more single crochets, then 2 more back post double crochets. 1 and 2. Now we're going to go to skip 2 stitches behind those, and then work 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. 1 back post double crochet, and then we're going to skip this stitch and we're going to work 3 single crochets, another back post double crochet, and skip a stitch here for that, 3 single crochets. Now we're going to do 1 more back post double crochet, skip this stitch, and then we're going to do 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last stitch ends where the stitch marker is. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this around and I'll show you what it should look like after this row. See, this branch is done. We're not going to work on this one anymore. I'll give you a good view of that. Okay, so go ahead and repeat that 2 more times across row 36. Okay, let's take a look at row 37. Go from right to left, and this is with the front side facing. We're going to have a chain 1, 5 single crochets, front post double, 3 single crochets, front post double, 3 singles, front post double, 3 singles, 2 front post double crochets, 3 single crochets, and this is where it gets a little tricky, 2 front post trebles over here, and then working in front of those 2 front post trebles cross and to pick up these 2 post stitches here, 3 singles, 2 front post double crochets, 3 singles, front post double, 3 singles, front post, 3 single, front post double, and then 5 single crochets. So let's go ahead and work row 37. This row starts with a chain 1 and a single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. After that, we have a front post double crochet, skip the stitch behind that, and 3 single crochets. Now we have another front post double crochet and 3 single crochets, skipping that back stitch, 1, 2, 3 singles, and then another front post double crochet. And now we're going to skip the stitch in the back and 3 single crochets. Now we're going to work 2 front post doubles, and now we're going to skip the 2 stitches behind those and work 3 single crochets. I'm going to move my stitch marker. Now this is where we work the 4 front post treble crochets. We're going to work 2. I wrap this hook twice, and I'm going to go way over here, work front post treble crochet. Working in front of these 2 stitches, we're going to work our trebles in these 2 stitches over here on the right. Okay, so we've done another cross. Now we're going to make sure we skip 4 stitches back behind this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next stitch is going to be worked in here. We have 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move my stitch marker on my chart. 2 front post double crochets. I'll move my stitch marker. Now we're going to skip these 2 and work 3 single crochets, 1 front post double crochet, skip the stitch behind it, 3 single crochets, front post double crochet. Let's see if I can hook that correctly there. Skip that stitch behind it. 3 single crochets, 1 front post double crochet, and now we should have, after we skip that stitch behind it, we should have 5 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stitch marker begins the next repeat. So let's take a look at this. Okay, notice that you're not working this branch or this branch any longer. Okay, so go ahead and repeat that 2 more times across row 37. Now we're ready to begin row 38, which starts with the backside facing and going from left to right. Chain, 5 single crochets, back post double, 3 singles, back post double, 3 singles, back post double crochet, 2 singles, back post double, 2 singles, back post double, 2 singles, 4 back post doubles. This is connecting into where the stitches cross just on that last row. 2 singles, back post double, 2 singles, back post double, 3 singles, back post, 3 singles, back post, 2 singles, back post, and then 5 single crochets. It's a lot happening here, so just make sure we pay close attention as we go across. Let's go ahead and crochet this. We start row 38 with a chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in the first 5 stitches. Okay, we're going to follow that with a back post double crochet. Skip this stitch for that back post, and 3 single crochets. We follow that with another back post double crochet and skip that stitch. 3 single crochets, and I'm going to move my stitch marker, and then we're going to do another back post double crochet, skip this stitch for that back post, 2 single crochets, and I'm going to move my marker here. Again, it's marking my stitches on my chart so I don't lose track of where I am. Now we're going to do another back post double crochet. Notice you have to reach over to get that one. Skip 1 stitch here for that stitch, and then 2 single crochets, and then another reach across towards the other direction for that back post double. Skip the next stitch for that, and I'm going to move my stitch marker, and then we do 2 single crochets. After the 2 single crochets, we're going to work 4 back post double crochets, 1 in each of those trebles that we crocheted for those crossing 4 stitches on the other side from the previous row. Okay, so just make them straight across like we've done before. And after that, we're going to do, actually, let's go ahead and count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, so that we don't work in those. Single crochet in the next 2, followed by a back post double. Skip this stitch, and single crochet 2 more, and then a back post double crochet. And now let me move my stitch marker again. We're going to work, skip this one, and then work 3 single crochets, back post double crochet, skip this stitch, 3 single crochets, a back post double crochet, and now we're going to skip 1 stitch for that back post double, and then we do 2 single crochets, 1 more back post double, skip this stitch, and then we are going to single crochet in the last 5. That's 2, 3, 4, sorry, keep it in viewfinder there, and then the 5th will be right where that stitch marker is, and that is your 48 stitch repeat across row 38. So let's go ahead and turn this around so that we can verify and see what these branches are doing. See how they're just thinning out here, kind of taking on their own little direction. Okay, let's hold that back so that you can see that repeat. All right, so go ahead and repeat that 2 more times all the way across row 38. Now we're ready to take a look at row 39 with the front side facing, starting with the chain 1. It's 4 single crochet, front post double crochet, 3 singles, front post, 3 singles, front post, 3 singles, front post, 2 singles, front post, 2 singles, 4 front post double crochets, 2 singles, front post, 2 singles, front post, 3 singles, front post, 3 singles, front post, 3 singles, front post, 4 singles. Boy, that almost sounds like a verse in a song, doesn't it? Okay, let's go ahead and work row 39. Row 39 begins with the chain 1 and single crochet in the first 4 stitches. Okay, now we're going to front post double crochet, reach over and grab that twig, literally, and we're going to skip a stitch behind that stitch, and we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move my marker on my chart, and then we're going to front post double crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet after we skip this one behind the post stitch, 3 single crochets. Now we're going to front post. I'm going to move my stitch marker there, front post double, and skip that stitch behind, and 3 more single crochets, followed by another front post double crochet, skip that stitch, and 2 single crochets. I'm going to move my paper stitch marker there, and then front post double in the next stitch. Then we're going to skip a stitch for the one we just crocheted, 2 single crochets, and then we're going to work 4 front post doubles, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Move my stitch marker. I'm going to count all 4 stitches behind here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 single crochets, followed by a front post double crochet, skip that stitch behind, 2 single crochets, and another front post double crochet, skip the next stitch, 3 single crochets, followed by a front post double, skip the next stitch here, 3 single crochets, another front post double, skip the next stitch, 3 more single crochets, front post double, let's go ahead and get it in the right place, front post double crochet. I don't like the way that looks. Let's try that one more time. Sometimes the hook just doesn't go in quite the right way. Okay, skip the next stitch and then single crochet in the last 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, and then of course the stitch begins the next repeat. Let's go ahead and take a look at the progress. This is row 39. Okay, so go ahead and repeat that 2 more times across row 39. All right, now let's take a look at row 40 with the back side facing, starting on the left side, we have a chain 1, 4 single crochet, 1 front post double, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochets, and then front post double. Make sure you connect it into this branch here, not this one. 3 single crochets, front post, 2 singles, front post, 2 singles, front post, 2 singles, 4 front post double crochets, 2 singles, front post, 2 singles, front post, 3 singles, front post, 7 single crochets, front post, and then 4 single crochets. So let's go ahead and complete row number 40, and this is going to be the last row of video number 3. We start this row with a chain 1 and 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to work a back post double crochet, skip this stitch, and we're going to work 7 single crochets. After working those 7 single crochets, we work a back post double crochet. It should be the next stitch. You should be able to feel it with your non-dominant hand there. Skip this stitch, and then we're going to work 3 single crochets, another back post double crochet, skip this stitch, 2 single crochets. Let me move my marker here, and then we're going to do another back post double crochet and skip this stitch, 2 single crochets, and now we're going to do 4 back post double crochets. After working those 4 back post doubles, we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches behind or in front of that, and we're going to work 2 single crochets, another back post double crochet, skip that stitch, 2 single crochets. I'm going to move my stitch marker on the page, and another back post double crochet, skip that stitch in front of it, 3 single crochets, back post double crochet, skip that next stitch, 7 single crochets, it's 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then 1 back post double crochet, skip this stitch, and then single crochet in the last 4 stitches, and that should end you right where that stitch marker is. So as I go ahead and move my stitch marker up to the next row, I just want to let you know that this is the end of video number 3. I just need you to go ahead and repeat this 2 more times across the row. Let me go ahead and give you a peek again what this should be looking like. Okay, I'm just mostly focusing on the top part where we've just completed. And I will see you in video number 4. God bless. Bye-bye.